Hey everyone, I'm going to be talking to you about BodyTalk Access today. So, what this class is a way to empower your health with 5 powerful techniques that you learn in one day but can use for the rest of your life. And the great thing about this class that you have those 5 techniques plus there's an additional one to help with anything that's related to trauma or emergency situations to help get you out of shock, fight or flight, which is a useful tool in so many different scenarios. So, BodyTalk Access, it is taught worldwide. It's taught in roughly about 52 countries. BodyTalk itself is international as well within 52 countries. And this is its own standalone little day class. And I mean, I shouldn't say little because it may seem like it's very simple to only have, 6 techniques, but and even though it takes about, roughly anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes, depending on your knowledge and how much you've memorized, it doesn't seem like a lot, but consider that whole day that you're practicing all these techniques, learning, you get a comprehensive manual. It is a jam packed filled day, and you're not going to memorize everything in that one day, which is fine. And that's why there's a manual. That's why the teachers are always there for additional support after the class. And it's something that I'm also coordinating because I believe in this class so much. I mean, there's so many classes you can take, but I mean, most of us don't even realize the day-to-day stress that we're under. We don't realize, what we're dealing with because we're so programmed to shut down so much of our stress until it becomes so overwhelming or until physical symptoms start to arise in our body. That's when we start paying more attention as to what's happening to us. So you can learn this in one day, and once you're done learning it, you can do it for yourself. You could also do it for your family members, maybe close friends, things like that. Um, and if you did want to eventually, start doing this more as a practice, that's something you would have to do once you're kind of, certified with the IBA system, to my knowledge. So this class is great for yourself. It's great to use on your family. You can't teach it to anyone else, though, obviously. There's, things about that we'll talk about later. But I'm just going to get started into what BodyTalk Access is. So I'm just going to do a little introduction of myself. I'm Cassandra. I've been a certified BodyTalk practitioner since, well, it was April 2012 that I got certified, but I took my first class in October of 2011. I came to BodyTalk after I had 7 years of chronic health issues. There was just a wide variety, and I don't even know what was happening at the time to myself. I was slightly okay. I mean, I was sick quite often as a child, and I just remember being home from school a lot, being sent home a lot because I was just constantly, sick. I had asthma when I was really young. But then when I was 16, I don't know what happened, but I, went traveling. I came home. Shortly thereafter, I got really sick. I gained about, 50 to 60 pounds in a really short period of time. I was very active, so it just made no sense for how much weight I was gaining. I was still eating like how I normally did. No one could figure out what was happening to me. And I also had a lot of back pain. I had a lot of insomnia after that, a lot of irritability. I also had a lot of depression. I was starting to get some anxiety around the age of 16, which progressed and got worse by the time I was about 21, 22. And that's kind of when I sought out, well, I didn't seek out BodyTalk. It actually just, fell in my lap. But I was seeking something, and I had been getting massage. I'd been taking a ridiculous amount of painkillers like Tylenol, Advil on a consistent basis. I just had a lot of irritability. I became cynical. I just was not a joy to be around in this time. So I took fundamentals first in 2011, but the interesting thing is that I didn't even take access until 2014. At the time, the only class that was coming up was fundamentals, so I just jumped right in after having my first session. So the cool thing was, I went into BodyTalk because of my back pain. And I'm not really going to talk about that story too much because it's not necessarily related to Access. Yes, it's related to BodyTalk, but I'd like to talk more about, what Access has done for me personally, because it was 2014 that I took it for the first time. And it was interesting because, even though you do sessions and this and that, sometimes what the practitioner is doing is just getting you out of survival mode so that you can do a session. Sometimes all you can do is get out of survival mode in the session. So from, experience and from what others have shared as well, when you do Access and you do it consistently, that it can actually help deepen your sessions and make them, more profound, more long lasting. There's just numerous things that can come with that. But with Access, I turned to Access daily with my recent diagnosis. So I'm starting to have, well, not starting, I've been having neurological issues for quite some time, which started to manifest in numbing in the left side of the body, numbing in the face. It was starting to come into like severe pain at the back of my neck. I was having internal tremors. I was having slurred speech. And it's really embarrassing when you're a practitioner, you consider yourself to be very professional, and you've had a couple clients because, every so often you would slur your speech, ask if you're okay or if you're impaired, and I mean, that to me, it was just horrifying because they were new clients, and at this time, I wasn't doing Access. I was getting sessions. I was trying to work with a few different things, but I just knew I needed to do something different because sometimes, even though you have lots of tools and, BodyTalk has helped me heal from so much, I just knew that there was something missing. So I took the class in 2014. Absolutely loved it. It helped me through my pregnancy, but then I fell off using it until I met my teacher, Christine, and she's been so fundamental for me for, continuing with Access, deepening my knowledge, and to applying it, especially since my recent neurological condition that has, come up as well. I mean, the extreme fatigue that I had, I was in survival mode 24/7. I was also trying to raise a daughter, trying to have a business, and I just couldn't do it, and literally it felt like my mind was exploding. So when I started taking Access and started utilizing it daily, my symptoms have greatly diminished. And, I feel like I can actually get through the day. I can actually get things done. My cynical, pessimistic side was gone for a long time. But then recently, with all these health issues, I just felt really down on myself. I felt really upset. I felt like I was sliding back into anxiety and depression because I didn't know what was happening with my body for so long. And it's only been the last 2 months that they've been kind of telling me what's been going on. So using Access, it's like I have energy again. I can sleep better. The tremors are less. I was having, relapses and attacks on a daily basis for the last year and a half. And since I started doing Access regularly, which was, back in November, so only a few months ago, all those symptoms started to disappear quite a bit. And I still have them about anywhere between, I would say 7 and 11 times per month as opposed to 30, and consistent and constant dizziness, So I found that to be a huge win for me on a personal level, but also as a mother, with your children, especially since mine is only 4, they do bump themselves, they do fall, they hurt themselves. And it's been really nice in those situations where she's hurt herself to pull out fast aid or even to do Access for her. And the cool thing with that is that, she's really hurt, her knees, she's fallen and, gotten a goose egg on her head. And with doing Access, it's interesting because it felt like that, didn't feel like, it looked like physically that it diminished quite a bit after doing, the fast aid routine a couple of times and doing Access once, which was really great. Access has been such a huge fundamental part of my life, and helping my clients get into these classes so that the sessions can be deeper, more profound, and more, transformations. And that's just what I think on a personal level. So yes, I'm a coordinator for Access, and my whole goal is that I want to begin teaching Access at some point. So this is why I'm also coordinating, and I love the class, and I also want to teach it because I just believe that if every one of us had some tool, especially something like this, that our quality of life can greatly improve. We can empower ourselves as well with our own health, especially when, for me, I dealt with over 16 years of no answers. No one taking me seriously, everyone calling me a hypochondriac or only running basic blood tests, not really listening to me. So if I had this tool back when I was 16, I think I could greatly, change the course of some of the things that I'd gone through. And not that I'd want to change that, knowing what I know now and just how I've been able to help others. But I think especially when we're younger, having these tools, the age doesn't matter, but it's just nice, to be able to do something for yourself and physically feel the benefit and physically feel the difference that it makes in your life. And throughout this whole presentation so far, my speech hasn't slurred once, which is really nice. And also, too, doing this as well as, the first technique they teach you. I don't like public presentations. I get nervous speaking in front of people, and yet I do it all the time. And I just do access and I do the first technique quite often before any of them. And I feel so much more settled, more confident, more within myself, more present, and it's really great because it really does help your immune system as well. So if you're having issues with your immune system, like for me, I had 27 abscess cysts in 1 year, and I haven't had any infections or anything. And when I have been sick, it's lasted for maybe like a day or two, which is normal, once a year to help purge your lymphatic system. So this can greatly help, boost that. Plus, physical pain has been a lot less. It was full spread all over. I was having physical pain, not so much anymore. But I mean, this is just how it's impacted my life. And, it's also helped different people in my family, like I already talked about with my daughter. It's a great tool for that. So I'm just gonna continue. So what is BodyTalk Access? It is a simple set of energy-based techniques to make daily maintenance and management of daily health challenges accessible. Majority of our day-to-day health and stress-related concerns can be easily addressed when done on a regular basis. So, for example, everything I just talked about with myself personally, what I have gone through. But stress can be greatly overlooked. Some physical symptoms include, our headaches, upset stomach, which would be nausea, diarrhea, constipation even, aches and pains, tense muscles, sleep disturbance, frequent colds and infections, nervousness, ringing in the ears, clenched jaw, and there's so much more. So that's the physical symptoms. If you look at the emotional symptoms, it's where we're easily agitated, easily frustrated, where we're moody, overwhelmed, feeling the need to take control, or feeling as if you're losing control, difficulty relaxing and quieting the mind, feeling lonely, worthless, depressed, avoiding others, as well as low self-esteem. Cognitive symptoms, constant worry, racing thoughts, forgetfulness and disorganization, inability to focus, poor judgment, being pessimistic, and fogginess. Behavioral symptoms would be changes in appetite. It could be to the extreme, so eating too much or not enough, procrastination, as well as avoiding responsibilities, increased substance use, nervous behaviors such as nail biting, fidgeting, and pacing. And this is one thing that I forgot to mention as well. I was a constant nail biter as well as biting the skin around my nails, which is, absolutely disgusting when you think how much bacteria is there. But I always did it. It was a nervous habit. It constantly happened. And thinking about it, honestly, I think I've maybe, bit my nails 3 times in the last 6 months instead of, multiple times daily. So there's just little things here and there that we do out of nervous habit that we don't even realize. And a lot of these things are just basic stress, which one technique can greatly help you with out of the 5. It'll help increase your resiliency. So the comprehensive foundation of the BodyTalk system for use by individual in the home, school, work, or sports environment. So what they have done is taken, 5 foundational techniques out of the BodyTalk system to create this class so that it's easily accessible, easy to learn, and can greatly help transform and help with your health. They are general techniques to balance the body that can be immediately noticeable. So it's really great because with these techniques, you can never overdo it. And with this system, you can never harm yourself by doing this properly. And I stress properly because you do have to do the techniques in sequence. So you can't choose and pick which ones you want to do. You have to do, all of them in the proper sequence in which it was set up. If you follow it appropriately, it's hugely beneficial. And it's great because you don't have to know all the details. Certain emotions, certain memories might pop up as you're doing it. Like, for example, like when I was in one of the access classes, I was doing cortices, the first technique that they teach you. And when I was breathing and tapping, all I could smell was anesthetic from when I was a child. And when I had about 7 teeth pulled because my baby teeth weren't falling out, I had that overwhelming sense, and I actually got pretty nauseous from that as I was doing the cortices. So once I finished all the other 5 techniques, it seemed to go away. But to me, and this is my own personal opinion, is that, it could be possibly that anesthetic that I had to breathe in to help put me out, it could have been affecting the brain on some level, still to this day, because sometimes our body doesn't fully dissolve or break down things out of the body appropriately. So this helps get to whatever is stored in the body we don't need and dispose of it. The wellness routine presented in BodyTalk Access helps reestablish lines of communication within the body-mind. So basically, whatever your body needs, it will take out of all of these, not symptoms, out of all of the different techniques, your body will pick and choose what it needs if it doesn't need it all, which is great because you don't have to decide anything. Your body and the innate wisdom of your body knows what to do, knows what to take, knows what not to take if it doesn't need it. So you can never overdo it. So when you reestablish the lines of communication within your body and mind, you become more resilient to stress and any other factors that could be detrimental to long-term health, such as things like allergies. This can definitely, help with any type of allergies that we do have, because it helps with the Wei Qi system, which in Chinese medicine helps protect us from environmental factors. So microbes, and other things in our environment. It could be done once a day, which I do recommend doing it at least once a day, every single day. You can do it more depending on need and what's happening and how severe things are. But considering my neurological condition, doing it once a day consistently has been massively beneficial. And since it only takes about, 10 to 20 minutes max, it's such a small portion of our day to help us feel centered, to help us feel more calm and relaxed, but overall relieving specific body tension and pain, those types of things. The 5 techniques. So the first technique is what I have, mentioned a couple times. It's CORTICES, is to balance communication between the left and right hemispheres of the brain, increasing cellular activity and regulating blood supply to the quote-unquote cold spots. So anytime that there's physical issues going on in the body, the theory behind CORTICES is that those symptoms appear in the body and in the brain in the form of cold spots. And CORTICES can actually help reduce the cold spots, which increases communication and increases blood supply to the brain. The second technique, which is called switching, is to normalize our stress threshold and reduce the effects of stress on the body. The third technique optimizes the flow of water and the absorption of water in the body for all processes to occur. Nothing in our body can happen without water. Water is extremely important, and even if you're drinking 3 to 4 liters of water a day and your body's not absorbing it, it's not going to do what it needs to in the system. The fourth technique optimizes your immune system, being more resilient to external factors such as microbes as well as internal microbes that may be hiding out. The fifth technique helps to balance posture, flexibility, structure of the body, improving range of motion, and overall coordination of the muscles, tendons, and ligaments. There's also that fast aid protocol taught after the above 5. It combines the 2 of the above techniques to help the body recover from all sorts of minor to major injuries, shifting the body out of shock and trauma back into growth and healing mode. Fast aid is flexible, it's fast, and can be used at any time or place to assist in recovery from injuries or trauma. And obviously, as you will learn in that class as well, that even though you may be doing fast aid from a distance for somebody, to also not be in the way of medical professionals as they're assisting someone. But also with yourself, if you're on your way to the hospital, you can utilize it for yourself as well. So I'm not going to teach you cortices as it is stated above. However, if you go to my YouTube channel, there is a cortices technique there that you can learn. You can also go to CassandraClegg.com and go under resources for balancing, and you can also download the PDF format so you can have it handy with you at any time. It's designed to be used by anyone. You can be a caregiver, any type of professional. It could be a family member, healthcare provider. There's no prerequisites. You don't have to be intuitive. You don't have to be anything but you, and just show up. Once used to the technique, it can take about 10 minutes to implement. You'll be able to use these tools for the rest of your life. The comprehensive manual is included. So I've also included the IBA's hope, so kind of what their mission statement is, and it's to provide a basic level of health maintenance in communities and countries worldwide where good healthcare may not be readily available. So the BodyTalk Foundation provides fully funded classes to communities in need, which I think is absolutely amazing. The hope is to reach families, to give them options, and to take health into their own hands where there might be nothing else available to them. Okay, so CORTICES, you can go to my website. It also has the link to my video. You can go to my YouTube channel, which is under Cassandra Clegg. But if you do have questions, please feel free to shoot me a comment below or to send me a direct message. You can also email me, and all of my contact info is under cassandraclegg.com. But all classes for this, all signups, events, resources for balancing like cortices is all there. So if you also want to join in on a matrix session, I do those Sunday nights, and that will give you a little bit of a taste of, BodyTalk and the type of things that we can help address as well with that. But like I've mentioned, Access is a powerful one-day class. It is extremely affordable, and it's taught all over. And that's basically what Access does, how it's helped me, how it's influenced my life. And if you have specific things that you want this to help you with, set those intentions as you do the BodyTalk Access once you've learned it. It's amazingly powerful, and anyone can learn this. I cannot stress this enough, is that you do not need any prerequisites. You do not need to be intuitive. All you need to do is just do these techniques the way they are set up, and it will definitely help you. It can massively improve your health. Even if you think that you don't have any issues, you don't have to be sick for this to work for you. This can help you feel more in tune with yourself so that you can make better decisions and be in a place where you're not running, constantly like go, 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 how a lot of us are actually programmed to run. So it can just help you be more aware, more discerning. And I mean, anyone can really benefit from this. So like I mentioned, let me know if you have questions, but have a good rest of your evening.